I'm Philip Isaacs, and today we're talking about burnt bridges, 3 ways it happens, and 3 ways to mend them. Now, maybe you've heard it before. You don't want to burn the bridges in your life because you never know when you may need them again. It's very true. Here's my story of how I almost burned a very important bridge. So it's back, I was probably about 14 years old. There was a kid in my class, and we had a really, really big disagreement, and I can't even remember what for, but we were kind of saying insults back to each other, not so good to be doing anyway. But I had this one insult ready to go, and it was pretty demoralizing. I chose to hold my tongue. I chose not to say it, and because I didn't want to really cause a problem, and it would have impacted our friendship. It would have impacted the relationship with this person for the rest of my life. And so I chose not to say it out of respect for this person. A year later, we were not that close. However, we're now in high school, and I'm in music class, and I am using this huge tenor saxophone. I think it was called a baritone saxophone. This thing is massive, okay? You need like this full-out harness to carry it because it's so heavy. But what happens is, because it's so big, the casing of it has these wheels, and now I have to bring this to school every Monday. So I take it home on the weekends, I bring it to school on Mondays, which means I have to carry it to school. So it's about a 10-minute walk uphill. Yes, uphill. Okay, no exaggeration. And so eventually, this kid and his mom offer to pick me up on Mondays to give me a ride so that I don't have to carry this device all the way to school. And this is the same kid that I almost said a really mean insult to. And it was at that moment, in the first time in the car while they're driving me off, and I got out of the car when we arrived at school, thanked his mom. I thought to myself, this could have gone extremely different if I'd said those things to him. So I was very glad that I didn't say it. I knew then that bridges were not meant to be burnt, but were meant to provide resources from myself to another person, from another person to myself. 3 ways it happens. Number 1 is through gossip. It's when you tell something about somebody, whether it be negative or neutral, sometimes even positive, that it should be confidential information. Quite frankly, I know everybody gossips, but it doesn't necessarily make it the right thing to do. It's hard to trust somebody who divulges your information to other people. Number 2 is letting negative emotions fester in a relationship. Or it's like the coals that you start a fire with. It's smoldering, and that smolder when you just let unspoken things, bitterness, stay in the relationship. And then eventually there's this huge argument because that wasn't dealt with, and the huge argument is that fire that burns the bridge. And number 3 is disrespect. Disrespect is something that happens when you have zero regard for that person's well-being, whether it's emotionally, physically, or mentally. Is you can have a disagreement with the other person, but still maintain respect for them, because they are valuable just like you and I. They are important just like you and I. These 3 things will undoubtedly burn your bridges. Respect, communication, and truth are 3 things that can make sure you maintain and have well-developed relational bridges in your life. That being said, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you all next week.